Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
Boy, are we going back to a time of childhood goldenness. You know, when I think of X-Men 92, I guess if you want to start with that part there, along with Batman of that time period is like my pinnacle, like childhood favorite shows. Like really, even I'll say this, as a kid, if you would have asked me at probably 6 years old or something like that, I might even say that X-Men was my all-time favorite jam.
You know, it was kind of like I liked superheroes at the time, and I liked Marvel and DC, but I didn't really read the comics, and my knowledge was limited to what characters showed up in whatever cartoon, as well as the movies. So X-Men was one that I liked Batman more, but my main two were Batman and Spider-Man. But X-Men, I would try to watch it when I could. It's if I can catch it, awesome, you know. And it was one of those shows that like it was a lot of times continual stories. So somebody's just come in the middle of an episode and it's dating back. So, and it's one of those things since then I've kind of caught up random episodes, but I haven't really. So going into X-Men 97, I know the gist, but it's not like I can't call back to this episode or that episode, but still kind of returns the vibes of what I remember of it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Because, you know, it's one of those ones I remember because I even bought like the DVD set like in the early 2000s. Like some nice person had slapped them all together on a DVD, you know, because they didn't really sell official ones for a long time, you know. And I had that collection that I went through in the early 2000s when I kind of got back into X-Men again. Seemed like it sort of came like kind of post-movie. Then it was like one of those ones. X-Men Legends really got me kind of hooked back into X-Men again. I'm like, man, I want to watch through this. So I found that on eBay. And then from there, I've also got like a Blu-ray copy that has them all slapped on there too, which is kind of nice to have, along with Spider-Man, because Spider-Man trails right behind X-Men and Batman for me. Very, very close, but still I would say third to the other two. But it's kind of interesting having this X-Men 97. It's not saying that they haven't tried like a continual thing before. They did it in the comics. I think they called it X-Men 92 initially, and they had a handful of runs. Not bad. I had a handful of those ones, and it was cool, but it was like, you know, sometimes there is a weird thing that like, you know, certain things will work. Like they did Batman 66, and I felt like that kind of fit and worked in the nice vibe and so on like that. And then when they sort of tried X-Men, and they've also done it with like things like Ninja Turtles, I think they call it like the Saturday morning cartoon version or something like that. Sometimes I always just feel like it looks like how you remember it, but there's something that's kind of off. There's something uncanny about these X-Men. It feels like something's maybe missing or something like that. I don't know. I just remember that in the comic book. Like I felt like I should like this more in this kind of thing, but it's one of those ones like, I don't know, it wasn't 100% there. Not bad, just not 100%.
Well, I know they did a continuation with the Batman animated series and continuing that, but I remember the thing is it came out in short micro comics. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Give me a real fucking issue. You remember that when by now there's probably more than enough story to go off of. But for a while it was like little micro comics they put out every so often. Like, give me the full fucking thing. Just do it. Which is kind of funny because at the time when I was just getting into comics, if I saw like the adaptation or the side story to like Justice League or whatever new Spider-Man cartoon was out at the time, I'd be like, well, why the fuck would I read the comic or the cartoon when I go straight to the source? And part of me still kind of feels that way. But now I'm like, well, the cartoon's done. If they did a thing like, because that Batman one I was talking about, like Red Hood comes into the Paul Dini, Tim, what's God, Tim.
I was gonna say Tim Sale, but that's the
yeah.
God, why am I drawing?
Can't believe I'm trying to blank on a name. Artist, he's the main artist. I forgot his name. Yeah. Character designer.
It'll come.
It'll come back. It'll come.
It's way too late.
Yeah. Alan Burnett, that team. I'm forgetting. I remember everybody but him. Almost had it. Anyway, like I would kind of check that out, but like now I'm like but like you're right. A lot of times it doesn't always feel. It feels more of just kind of like here's the imagery and here's a callback to this episode, and like I don't know if I can remember that far back unless I just rewatched it. You know what I mean? It's and rewatching shows like that. Not that I don't like them. The don't happen too frequently. I'm almost too busy to kind of go back and constantly rewatch them every few years. So going into X-Men 97, I appreciate that they didn't have so much callback. Like they referenced things and there was carryover, but there wasn't like this like, hey, just watch this thing from 30 years ago. Good, we're getting on to it now. And also I appreciate because like there was like there was corniness to the dialogue in the original show, and they had that in this, and it's slightly tongue-in-cheek and melodramatic, but at the exact same time, I think this show, before we go too far into spoilers and all that, I think the show does this thing where it almost kind of ages with the audience, because it starts off feeling like, yeah, it's still like PG Saturday morning and just maybe slightly more violent or whatever, but then it slowly kind of progressively goes more and more and more, like, oh, this is not really even a kid's show anymore,
Yeah, no. That definitely is true. And it's one of those ones that sounds weird, but like when I initially started with X-Men 97, I felt like the first couple episodes, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I dig this. This is good. And then about in the middle of it, I was kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. They're kind of dropping the ball. They're trying too many things. They're pulling all those like classic problems that I feel when like, people try to do like a continuation of something old, but then it like in the last about like 3 or 4 episodes it came back strong, and I was like, okay, no, this is doing pretty good now. I overall enjoyed this, even if there was some parts that could have been dialed in a little bit more. I think that the overall package was still good, and it wasn't like it got Disneyified or kind of the fear that happens with sometimes when Disney takes over a property. No, it seemed like they still kept it pretty strong. Even if they did try to, I don't know, fit in a little bit of extra like drama and, weird stuff in there. I think my biggest thing is they try to jam a lot of stuff in, like almost like too much. It's like, dude, like for 10 episodes, you don't need to have all this stuff in here, and all these like extra side stories. There were some kind of ones that's just like, I felt like there's some unnecessary. Like I'll say it's like the Storm one, like once she loses her powers and everything like that.
Oh, right.
I just felt like that just drug when it's like her and Forge, and they were just like, I get what you're doing. Or even just like Professor Xavier just being like, I have a space wedding. Look at me.
With these bird people.
Yeah, like I just felt like it was just like, I know what you're doing, and like, yeah, it's okay, cool. You're showing some of this other stuff there, but it felt like, yes, you could have almost just had the professor fucking fell asleep in the backyard and nobody went to go look for him, and then he just woke up.
He's up in the shed. His batteries, there's little Jetsons wheelchair died.
You know what I mean?
He passed out with the cerebral helmet on, so it's
yeah. There is some goofy stuff where it's like they make it try to seem more convoluted and complicated than it really needed to be, and sometimes it ends up getting to the point where like there's some characters, like ironically, that really are just there. Like Wolverine does like almost nothing in this entire show. He just bitches about like what's going on while he's watching TV half the time, drinking beer with Morph. like it's one of those ones that's so weird to see. I'm
try to cock tease Morph the whole time, basically.
like it's that thing that like, don't get me wrong, like there's that point like, when you watch something, you're like, okay, yeah, you kind of expect like he's Wolverine, he's always there. Sometimes it's kind of nice to see other characters get the spotlight and so on like that. But I'm like, since you're doing an X-Men 92 thing, continuation in 97, I feel like if I'm in this kind of universe, I feel like I kind of expect Wolverine to be there a little bit more often, and he really isn't. It's like he's like extremely underutilized in a weird way. Granted, it does give some other characters some more. Like Rogue gets a lot going on in this thing, even though Rogue still does some weird shit. That's like, okay, I feel like you guys are trying a little bit here, but whatever. Like,
I kind of see why and how she was doing that. I mean, Sim kind of like a turn, but at the same time, like, given how she starts, from what I know of the comics, as well as what they establish with Magneto, because I'm actually working through. I got a lot more to read. I've been too busy, but I'm working through this right here, omnibus, and that whole love relationship with Rogue and Magneto, and him running Xavier School. That's all in here, and I was like, oh shit, I'm reading that right now. So.
Yeah, no, well, that's the thing is that they're not pulling anything out of their ass. That's definitely, it is, if there's any added stories, characters, yada, 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 it is all coming straight from, But they do try to sometimes put. There's a little bit of like, as I said, it's those middle episodes. Like as I said, it starts out strong. You know, you come in, you got an action-packed episode going on here. You know, right off the bat, you learn that Cyclops and Jean, they're pregnant with Cable and everything like that, and then you learn that like in the last Will and Testament, God knows how. At this point, you have no idea how the Professor Xavier just disappeared. And I started thinking about it because I was like, did that happen because in the original show, there's like the normal like 60 something episodes, and then there's the last season, and the last season's kind of the equivalent of Batman. Season 4, where the animation changes and it kind of has a different feel to it. And the X-Men had the same thing too. The last season, and it's only like 13 episodes, give or take. It's different. The animation's different. The kind of the character look and everything starts changing. Like I almost kind of wanted to look that one up once again because I only have really watched it like twice in my entire life, and that was when I got those DVD and Blu-ray sets. And everything in there is kind of in a different way, just for a moment. And then, it ends and so on like that. And I was wondering if some of that stuff was taken in that last section of it beforehand. But I don't think so. I think it's one of those ones that are like, no, we're just going to lead you in here. Because I couldn't even remember if Storm had the Mohawk look in that when they changed the animation style around.
Well, I think that I kind of have a little bit of like, it sounds like when it ends, we both like it, but I almost had a little bit of an opposite effect on you. I just want to say this real quick. Mm-hmm. I actually, when it started off, I'm like, I like it enough, like the animation was really fluid, the action was cool, but it still had that kind of campy Saturday morningness to it. And in the Mr. Sinister being a really hammy villain and all that. So I was just kind of like, okay, no, I'm enjoying this. But, it felt kind of a little bit nostalgia baity to me. Like, here's the shit, just a little shinier, a little bit more fluid, and some things have been kind of updated, like slightly. I'm like, all right, and then, like, I mean, the whole thing with Mr. Sinister and Nathan and him taking this baby and like dropping him into a vat of like computer shit. I was like, that's a little darker. All right, I'll give that credit. But then once we get to Genosha. Like Genosha is where the show really like, oh fuck, this got way more real, and this just like kind of like became a man overnight. Like overnight, its balls just dropped, like chest hair popped up, got a jawline suddenly. like immediately, it just got way more ballsier and way more. I mean, because then it was leading up to that. There's still some good stuff in there. I do think you're right, though, about the whole thing with because I like the relationship between Storm and Forge. At the same time, maybe I missed something. Maybe I overlooked something. I mean, because I'm not going to lie, I didn't rewatch them before leading up to this. I'm thinking back to when I first saw the episode, and there's a lot going on. I don't know where the fuck that owl demon thing came from. At first, I thought that was in her mind. Like, oh, the owl demon is actually there. Like I thought it was some kind of metaphor thing. So I wasn't really sure what. And apparently, that's from like a. I don't remember that in the omnibus. Maybe it's in there somewhere. But I was just like, where the fuck is this coming from? Maybe it's some kind of inner demon thing. But at the same time, it was like that kind of like took a minute. But then once we got past that, like everything else going on, once she just got her powers back and she was there, because there was a minute where I think she was even leading the X-Men with no powers.
Well, she almost felt like the second that she lost her power, she's like, I'm fucking useless, I'm out of here, guys, see ya. What's the point? You don't want a dirty human walking around here, do you? But
she's one of my favorite X-Men, so I was a little down. I was a little down when I saw that right there.
Yeah, well, that's what I kind of felt too. As I said, there's some stuff in like the center part, because it's like because this is one thing I will say that kind of happens when like people sometimes come back to shows and try to remake them again, is they sometimes sort of forgot why, especially in the 90s, like cartoons work so well. And the main thing is it's pacing. Pacing is the biggest like logic gap in modern storytelling, I feel. And I think also it's due to the fact that when shows, now this one's not too bad, but like when shows don't have like a set time limit, people just they can lollygag and drag a little bit more. And I think in this show here, they don't necessarily do it like per episode, but in that middle part they do sort of lollygag and drag a little bit, where like if it was back in the day, it's like, no, you got to get this fucking shit going, like get Storm's powers back, have her kick some ass, like, you know what I mean, like figure this stuff out a lot faster. And there's a couple other parts too where the other one too that really stood out was the Xavier one, which comes a little bit later down the line, where I feel like, he's up there and doing his space wedding and everyone's like,
space politics.
Yeah, be like, you brought this bald guy in here, like from Earth. Like, out of all the guys you could have picked, that's the guy you went with. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess that's. I'm assuming that's also just because I remember he leaves with some space people. I don't really remember the context of how or why. But that whole part was like, it didn't kill it for me. I was still enjoying it. Like, there's no point where I was like, fuck this. But there were points, there were highs, and there was like when I say low, not like this is some fucking horse shit, but more like, okay, I'm liking it, but we could speed through this part. Like I liked the Mojo episode. That felt kind of like a little bit of filler, but I kind of liked the Mojo episode.
I like that one a lot
fun.
because I like Mojo the character a lot, and I thought that definitely is, like, you would say, a filler episode, but it was still it was a good change up because it kind of. I wish there was actually more episodes like that where they just sort of broke the formula and they didn't just like because that one's just like this just happens and it really has nothing to do with the rest of like the overarching story. But I kind of like that you don't have to follow that overarching story the whole time.
I also found myself, because when Bastion came in, I think some characters, it almost feels like and this is not a bad thing, but I feel like they really amp up their writing when Bastion is on. And plus the guy voicing him, I kind of like how calm and collective he is, the way he talks. And, not just in a typical, like, you see, the way we will destroy the human, nothing like that. I mean, he has like a very, like, and plus, like, a lot of times when people use licensed music and stuff, it kind of is it's a little like, I feel like you're pulling away too much. But the licensed music they picked, I felt was really fitting. Like when he's putting on Purple People Eater while he's like shaving, like he's giving his bad guy speech while shaving like Magneto, who's all like gimped up in his like shed in the back somewhere in South America, like, yeah,
just a 70-year-old jacked man just fucking tied up.
Yeah. And then like that whole scene I thought was really good. And even like some of his small little, like, I like how because a lot of times now when you do something MCU, it feels like when they put in a character from like another movie, not always, but a lot of time, whenever you put a character in from like the MCU, it's like, oh, cameo, or oh, setup, oh, look, where this, it felt way more natural. Like everybody you saw, they're like, well, maybe we didn't need to see Spider-Man, maybe we didn't need to see Captain America and Iron Man or Doctor Doom, but it felt very natural. And even the part I trailed myself off there, but even that part where Doctor Doom is like, Doom has no problem like with morally gray outcomes, but not if it just leads to war crimes, like that. He's just great. That's great. I'll send memos next time. Just how like dismissive Bastion is to like Doctor Doom of all fucking people,
Yeah, no. Bastion was kind of cool to have it because there was a moment there too where I felt like, and this sounds weird for me to say this because I seem to always want the movie to have more stuff in it, but I was like, man, they're trying to jam in way too many almost villains like throughout this whole thing. Because for a while there, it's like, okay, of course you got the Sentinels, then you got Magneto, then you got Mr. Sinister, then you got, even Mojo, but he's only there for one episode. And then of course Bastion comes in and so on like that.
People like Friends for Humanity or whatever that group's called.
Yeah, so then they got all like the in a sense the racist groups and all that kind of stuff in there too. So at first I was like, man, it's like I will say it's like they try to jam a lot into 10 episodes, which doesn't sound like that should be a bad thing, but I do feel like there's just a little bit of distraction in there. Like it's almost that weird one that like, I'm not saying you probably need a necessary, but you almost could probably minus out like 2 episodes in there and just sum up a couple things a little bit faster, and the pacing would be a little bit more natural. Not saying it, but it's not saying it's bad. Just like how you said before, there's nothing like bad. There's just some things that just feel like there's just a little bit of
crowded.
linger, like it's just crowded. It could be better. And as I said, it's like the 2 main ones that stuck out to me story wise, generally, was of course, the Storm and Forge one. It's like Storm and Forge are both amazing characters. I'm not saying anything against it, but it just feels like I was just kind of like, let's just get this to the point. Like I always just wish she would have went to Forge and Forge be like, oh, I got you something cool here. Watch this. Watch my building abilities. There we go. I'm just like laying out here in my bungalow, fucking with no shirt on, and I can figure this out. Power's back now. And then the same thing with like Professor Xavier, who just decided, you know what, guys, I want to get a space wedding going. I know that like I've been working to bring humans together with mutants and all that stuff, but I just kind of realized it's just not gonna work. Fuck it. You know what? Here you go, Magneto. How about you run the school for a bit? You're always my oldest friend, so go out there and do it. I'm gonna go space wedding it up. Where guess what? People in space still racist. Doesn't matter where you are. Wherever I go, they fucking, they might not say like, oh, we hate mutants up here, but we sure hate fucking Earthlings. But
we sure hate bald people.
I sure hate bald people, But in space, I can walk, so fuck you. Which means
watch me now. He starts doing like the Mick Jagger chicken walk.
Yeah, and I can walk right up to you and kick you square in the nuts because I'm fucking Professor Xavier. I will say Professor Xavier is kind of. He's got a weird guy voicing him, and he's also kind of written like not nearly as intelligent. I don't know why, but Professor Xavier sort of says shit in this thing. Where I'm like, maybe that's not the real Professor Xavier. I mean, we don't even have the real Jean Grey in here for a moment. Scott's been like banging a clone.
Well, I'll say from like, cause I've been recently trying to get into X-Men more because X-Men is one of those things where I looked at it and like I love the characters. I'll watch the movies or whatever, but I anytime I looked at a comic, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? There's all this history, there's all these callbacks, but then after a while, things about it just looked. Plus, I was kind of more interested in X-Men when they kind of do more like the ground level, like kind of what the first couple of movies focus on, just trying to like integrate into society and what the troubles that come with that, the MLK stuff and whatnot. And then once they start going to space and all that, that's where I was getting a little bit more. There's a period when I first started reading comics, I didn't really like it when they went into like space and do interdimensional shit just because like it's really hard to like pitch this shit to people. So it's way easier to say this one Batman is solving like like a triple homicide as opposed to he goes into space and meets Batmite and teams up with Mr. Mixoplex, just that kind of shit, so But, and the more you get into comics, the more you get curious about this writer, that writer, you go here, you go there. And I really wanted to read Jim Lee X-Men. So like, fuck it, let's see what this is about. And I'm really liking it. So I went on a tangent there. Anyway, sorry. The main point I was going to make was I don't feel like I know a lot of X-Men stuff. I know like broad strokes, like major events that happen within X-Men. So this thing feels like it was trying to cram a lot of that into one season where it probably maybe could have been sprinkled among 2 seasons. That said, I still really liked it.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that, some of this stuff could have, like, at least some of these other worlds could have been stretched out into different places, like, and so on. And I will say, for anybody out there, if anybody wants, like, a quick catch-up on X-Men, like, there's 2 go-tos that can kind of, quick as in quick enough, but like obviously watching the 92 show, because the cool thing about that show is they just like literally took all the big arcs and just converted them into animation form and so on. So you can pretty much almost generally catch up for the most part on 60s to 90s X-Men in the show. And then the other one that was like a great, refresher for me, especially when they came out, was those X-Men Legends 1 and 2 games. Because not only do you get a bunch of X-Men stories in there, but that game just had all the cool, here's the history of this character, here's a little behind the scenes here, and all this stuff that just added up a real nice experience, to that.
Oh, and also going back onto sort of in the same area. One of the things is from what I know, because everyone would always talk about like, well, people who didn't read X-Men comics would always be like, Cyclops is fucking lame. Did you see him in the movie? He likes Backstreet Boys. He just fucking doesn't do anything. He dies at the beginning of the third one. Fuck Cyclops. And I was just like, yeah, what's the big deal about Cyclops? I don't see the fucking deal. And then everybody who read X-Men comics like, fuck you. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. All right, fair. And where I'm at right now, he's not even. When I'm reading this, I don't remember him even being a member of the X-Men. I don't know what the fuck he's doing right now. So, but this, I totally get it because they like. I appreciate they actually gave Wolverine somewhat the bench. They gave him the moments. You know, you get the moment with the more spoilers ahead, but you get the point, like real spoilers from this point. You get the point where the adamantium getting ripped out. You have other things happening with him, and I like some of the bits between him and Morph. But if this like the idea that like this like really flamboyant gay dude is like best friends with this very like this like total man's man who's like ready to just stab anybody, you know? So like yeah. I kind of liked their back and forth, but at the exact same time, Cyclops though, I'm glad they gave Wolverine a bench to give more time for characters like Cyclops or give more time for, because I even think from what I remember the show, Jean Grey didn't get a lot. She was just kind of, you know, just the lady character for the most part.
No, Jean gets a lot in the TV show. She does? Definitely does. I mean, same with Cyclops, I would say, too. But
I guess introducing the fans who just think of the movies and not this continuing show.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, in the movies, a little bit different. So, but in the show, Jean definitely has a pretty good amount. I mean, I would say that show's pretty equal on like, the core 7 characters.
With 60 episodes, probably more time to divvy it up, too.
Yeah, because, I mean, Jean, like, has a lot. I mean, the only thing about Jean is Jean's always been that character she's cool and she has powers, but she's always like the emotional issues one that can be sometimes kind of annoying.
Centers around drama.
Oh, my mind. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I'm being trapped. Oh, like she always feels like they're like, oh, what's Jean's fucking problem this week? You know, she sometimes is that, which I will say they do make her actually a little bit stronger in this one, where it's not just like. Yeah, it's just not like, oh, I can't do it because, you know, I'm having a migraine, or, there's always something that's, oh, Dark Phoenix, you know, let's stop and fix Jean here for a second. You know? So you do kind of have a little bit of that going on. One weird thing, though, is, okay, once you get to, like, the Genosha part and so on like that, and Magneto's kind of doing the thing where he's like, look at me. I'm fucking in charge of the X-Men. I got my own island, you know, and it's just like, of course, like the people against mutants are like, oh shit, they're all in one place? Perfect. Like, this is exactly what we wanted for, you know what I mean? And then they have just like the Sentinels come by and just start fucking, you know, annihilating all the, you know, the mutants, which they do one thing that is kind of a bizarre thing that I was like, okay, they're going to find a way to change this around, which I think maybe by season 2 they might do this, but like, they have Gambit make the sacrifice in this thing where he, you know, does something kind of cool where he just kinetically charges up the entire, like, Sentinel that's been, like, annihilating everybody here at the fucking Genosha party that, and blows himself up in the process. I remember just sitting there going, like, wait a second, they just killed off one of the main characters like this? Oh, they did. They did. And that's my favorite X-Men. Thank you. So there was a brief moment where I was maybe not as bad as like when I was watching Suicide Squad and I just sat there for the first half an hour. I couldn't even take in the rest of the movie because they killed Captain Boomerang. But even still, I was like, oh, okay. Like,
he's coming back.
Yeah, I thought and then I was like, oh, he's not coming back. He's not. They sacrificed him, and they even had like beforehand because you know they do the Rogue and Magneto relationship, which I know that happens in the book and so on. Of course, that's kind of before Gambit and so on like that because. The weird thing about Gambit and Jubilee is those characters are like fucking brand new as fuck when they do the cartoon. So they were almost taking a gamble on them. Like they had like all of like 5 issues, and then they're like, let's throw them into the animated series. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I'll say the thing with Gambit is that was even a thing where I wasn't expecting him to go out like that at the exact same time. That was a badass way to go. And at the same time, I know he's going to be back. Even if he's not, even if this show never gets a second season or he never comes back. In some pocket universe, he comes back somewhere. It's fucking comic shit. I don't think Callisto or Banshee or Leech are coming back. But like,
They're like fuck those like Morlocks, fucking underground sewer dwellers, like because they like killed all of them off. They're like, who cares about them? They were already having a hard time living. They finally came up to the surface. They're like, you know what? I think it's time to trust the surface world. They're up there for one fucking weekend.
And a fucking robot foot comes down.
They're like, I fucking knew it. I knew this was gonna happen when I came to the surface world.
Well, even though we're joking about that was also one of the most realist moments because, like, you know, even though Magneto, he loves chewing up the scenery, the moment when Leech is like scared and looks up at him, he just looks at the kid like he's not going to bullshit him. He says like, "Don't be scared." That's all he's like. Fuck, you know, just like such a real fucking moment right there, you know.
Well, you know what's the other weird one too? If speaking of Gambit and all his, because Gambit was doing good for a while until like he starts going like fucking Magneto shows up as like the teacher, and the next thing you know, Rogue's like banging him every night, and Gambit's like,
just fucking,
what the fuck
just
does he see in
him basically?
Here's this 50, like literally, the dude's like 50 years older than both me and Rogue. Like, what the fucking shit?
Well,
the guy was fucking born before World War II.
In this world, I guess maybe magnetism makes you adjust the iron in your blood just to turn yourself in, to give yourself the most perfect jawline and make yourself look like, you know, like, plus, you know, he's got years of experience. So, and I guess the whole thing, like he can make like microscopic, like not be all microscopic, but like micro electrical fields so they can more or less touch. Isn't that is their excuse around it? So I guess that's the one thing. And Rogue's like, look, Remy, I love you, but goddamn, I'm fucking horny. All right, look at all this. Look at all this.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Remy, I touch you, and then everything else explodes around me. Because that's what would happen. She would absorb his powers, and then she wouldn't have control of the kinetic ability, and then the entire room would blow up.
I will say, I don't know how the character is in the comics, but I was like, I didn't really give a fuck about Sunspot. I kind of understand why his character is there, and I understand parts of his story, but the whole thing with him just being kind of like a little rich kid, and then the second something goes bad, like, I'm going to turn against you guys, even though you were the only guys that stood out for me, and even though I wasn't about the human cause, I wasn't about the mutant cause until my mom, like, shoved me out the door. Yeah, like, fuck this kid. Fuck him.
Yeah. That guy being the Avatar character, I guess you would say, of the show was kind of annoying and like, at least he's not in it enough that you're, like, really pissed at him, but he's still just one of those ones like, you know what, that guy could have fucking died. Let's be honest. Gambit could have chucked him at the fucking, could have kinetically charged his body, chucked him inside the mouth of the fucking Sentinel, blows up, everybody fucking cheers.
Credits immediately.
Yeah, parents fucking cheer too. She's like, oh god, that solves that problem.
We get the trust fund back, and we took out a life insurance policy on him too.
And nobody will know that we had a mutant kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's one of those ones where that guy there, it's just, and you're kind of one of those ones like Jubilee, like fucking listen, like Wolverine, get off the couch and go fucking tell Jubes that do not go hang out with this guy. It's not gonna be good. Nothing good's gonna come from this. She needs a better boyfriend. Wolverine, be that father figure.
The disgruntled stepdad figure. He's like, he's only one time he comes and stops working on his motorcycle, and it's just to come and like knife her stepdaughter's like boyfriend, basically.
Pretty much, like like him and Morph just get fucking hammered in the middle of the night and just come beat the shit out of this kid.
Morph turns into his parents and tells them what a fucking disappointment he is. Yeah. No, that's even like. I don't know how the character is in the comics because this is my first introduction to that character, as far as I know. Because you read so many comics, maybe he popped in, maybe he didn't. I don't know, you know. But like, this is my first introduction to him that I can remember, and I understand his. Like, it's weird, like the structure of his story and the way it's presented, if that makes any sense. I don't mind that. I don't dislike that. The idea of a rich kid who can't relate to his parents and he's also kind of hidden and this and that. I'm okay with that. It's just how like douchey he is and seems like he doesn't really have that many like likable moments because he's kind of like he's like hey, whatever, I'm rich. This isn't my problem. And then the second it becomes like his problem for a day, he's all about that cause. And he's going against the people that brought him in initially. So that's kind of like my go fuck yourself kind of thing about him. But
yeah, that character, if you would have killed anybody, that character could have died, and you know it would have been fine.
maybe he'll get better season 2. Like I said, I have no idea who this character. Maybe his that progression makes more sense in the comics or something. But
well, because I think
because
he's
they
kind
did
of a newer
speedrun some
character.
shit.
You know, like you know, newer character probably has in like the last 30 years, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I want to say
I don't believe he's like a 70s character.
I did like how they used Morph as a way to be kind of like cameos without actually having those characters there. So we know at some point they bump shoulders. Like I don't think it's likely that X-Men 92 ever had Magic in there. You know, like I thought that was cool that she was there for a second. Did they ever have Magic or any of the New Mutants in there? I mean, they very well may have.
I want to say there is a New Mutants episode. But yeah, some of those, like the majority of the ones, I want to say at least have a moment in there or something. But I do like how they really did utilize Morph a lot, because when I was a kid, I thought Morph was such a cool character, and of course, you know, supposedly he dies for like 50 episodes or whatever the heck it is, maybe not that long, but like 40 episodes. But he's not really in the show a whole lot. The one thing I thought was kind of weird is that Morph, now the way that he looks with like his white face kind of thing, like that's how he looks in the comic book version. But I kind of just wish they just kept the 92 version of like, you know, the way he looks in that is like his normal form. I don't know why they decided to change that part up. You know?
I guess maybe just to distinguish it from the other ones, and maybe the androgynous face thing is more of a. I'm not sure if that's a newer thing or not, but I could see them just trying to do that just to have for the sake of variety, or changing it up separated from the original.
Well, no, that's how his character has always sort of looked in the comics.
Okay.
But I just feel because it's X-Men 92, I just think that they should have just stuck with the original design for that. That was the only thing I thought was kind of, as I said, maybe that's just because that's how I'm used to Morph looking, as like, you know, as far as that is. So it's like, but maybe it was, who knows if there's like, maybe it was like a character like, well, that likeness of that actor who they based it off. Yeah, I don't know if it's one of those things. Granted, he does change into that. He changes into like the Morph when they find him, you know, at Mr. Sinister's house being worked on. And Wolverine's just all pissed off. He's like, Cyclops, you told me he died. You told me my best fucking friend in the world died. And we couldn't go fucking back there. And so on. And he's in Mr. Sinister's basement. Well, yeah, we didn't know that.
I'll say Wolverine is needlessly, because I feel like in the movies, yeah, he's kind of a dick, of course, but in the cartoons, like from what I remember of 92 as well as this, he is needlessly a dick. Like just like it's even that part in the trailer, like Cyclops, like, we do this by working together. Yeah, quit buzzing in my ear, Bob. Like motherfucker, we're just. Do you have to fight me on fucking everything? You know, like one of my favorite, like I saw like a T-shirt of it, and it was like, I didn't get it, but I just thought I'm not sure if it's referencing someone else, but it's basically like it's like a picture of like Scott and Jean. Jean is sitting on Scott's lap, and he's yelling and pointing to the person on the other side of the table. You see it's Wolverine. He's just crouched down with his claws up, like just at the end of the table. So like, I don't know if it's referencing something. Like there's like the Goku and Piccolo thing from Friday with the damn. There's that. I'm not sure if it's that, you know, but
something of that nature. Yeah. So
yeah.
Everybody else has their own personal moments with like TV shows anymore.
But to be honest, though, like it's kind of like, you know, as you're a kid, you're just like, yeah, fuck Cyclops, go with Wolverine, yeah. Then you get a little older, you think like, why would this lady who can go with this hairy little fucking goblin that stabs shit with his hands, when she has like Scott, who's like, he, you know, like it's just one of those things. Like in hindsight, as an adult, you're like, no, I get it. Like he does his taxes. He's responsible.
Yeah, he's got it all together. You know what I mean? Like that's the.
He's paying the mortgage on time.
You know, and don't get me wrong, I still always liked Cyclops. Literally, when I was in the second grade, I dressed up as Cyclops for Halloween, so it's not out of the question there. Who knows? That might have been the easier costume though. It might have been one of those ones my mom's like, well, that's probably gonna be easier doing the Gambit costume. You never know.
When they started doing Wolverine more often and just the tank top and then the jeans and this claws, like parents like I'll be Wolverine. Like, please, Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Yes, Hugh. All right, cool. Let's get that going.
Yeah,
we're going to Ross.
That's an easy one to do. Yeah. But yeah, no, it totally makes sense. Like why it's like, okay, Gene's like, yeah, I don't need to be with the guy who's 150 years old. Believe me, I know it. I read his mind. I don't. And here's the thing: the guy drinks every night, yells at the TV. Goes out on binges with his fucking friend Morph. God knows where they go. At least Scott's always here. He's taking care of business. You can rely on him. Even though he lost his father who decided to go on a space quest and, never come back, he still is a fine, decent being.
I was a little sad that I was excited to see Bishop, and then they kind of very quickly Bishop's like, I'm going to do some future shit with your kid, and then he doesn't come back till the very end. So at least season 2, he might be there for more. But
because that was the first thing I said when I first watched the first couple episodes. I'm like, awesome! They actually give Bishop quite a bit of stuff to do because he's in the old show, but he's only here and there and so on like that. He's not one of the main characters, and I thought it was like, oh, that's cool. Bishop's one of the main characters, and then it's like, oh no, he's not. he's out of here for a while. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of a bummer. But
yeah, I find I'm not being like, this is not woke. I was not expecting to lose the 2 only black characters this early on into the show. I'm not trying to do the thing this is problematic, but because I knew Storm was going to come back, and when she comes back, when she actually gets that moment when she gets her powers back, it is a real fuck yeah kind of moment. And then there's even that part when they're going to face off against Bastion because the expansion gets destroyed. Looks like we got to use our old costumes. I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. That's a cool little nod.
Yeah, no, I did. The costume change towards the end was pretty sweet. Where it's like, oh shit, Storm's in her '70s costume. They got Rogue in her late '80s costume. They got, of course, and then the other X-Men go for their '60s and '70s depending on what era they are. And I was like, that's actually pretty badass. Just to have it, to have it. There's no real rhyme or reason to why they did it. It's just that's cool. And kind of going through that, I will say I love the part because there is a neat part where I like when Rogue literally goes rogue, and after Gambit dies, even though for some reason it's just she should have saw us coming. I was out banging fucking Magneto, this guy who's 50 years older than the other guy I was just dating. That's got to be a fucking psychic maelstrom on him. I probably should have thought that through. And, so he felt probably that, I could sacrifice myself. Nobody gives a fuck. And then she's like, I'm going to go on this revenge, journey, just fucking smashing shit and whatnot and going to kill all the Sentinel stuff, which I thought was actually pretty badass. And then I like when she gets to one point where Captain America shows up. He's like, whoa, lady, we need you to settle the fuck down right now and whatnot. And I need to talk some good old American sense into you. And there's a
ask yourself a question. What would John Wayne do? It's like, fuck John Wayne. Just frisbees his fucking shield off into the Himalayas.
Yeah, I love when she just chucks fucking Captain America's shield off and then leaves. And I love Captain America just stands there with this look like, fucking bitch. Now I gotta run fucking 3 states over to get that back. That's taxpayer dollars right there, damn it.
He just runs this is on your dime, just so you know, you're paying for this. He just starts running through the snow that direction.
I'm sending Magneto the bill. I will say there is a part though, at the end where, speaking of all the other characters that sort of show up, because they do kind of a cool thing where they show there's Iron Man and there's Black Panther and there's a handful of other guys, Spider-Man for a split second, and there's a part where Asteroid M is literally crashing down. I know we're jumping around here, but Asteroid M is literally crashing down to Earth as they're trying to save pretty much everything. And then the X-Men have to go out and work as a fucking team to do this. And all I'm thinking is what the fuck is Iron Man doing down there? There's an asteroid coming down. Well, not my fucking deal. Yeah, it's don't show all these guys and then have them not participate whatsoever. I was like, what are they fucking doing? They're just going to watch?
I could see the people I could actually see doing something is assuming he's not AWOL and assuming he had access technology. I could see Bruce Banner making some kind of device to shoot off that thing, work with Iron Man. I can see Doctor Strange doing something. Maybe Wakanda even having some kind of like vibranium laser beam shit. Spider-Man, like I get it. Spider-Man, Mary Jane, like what the fuck can we do? We just got back together.
Yeah. But yeah,
Daredevil, Cloak and Dagger. I was expecting to see them.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger. I thought was actually kind of cool that they were in there too. Yeah, I mean, like those guys, I don't expect them to do anything. Like Daredevil fucking just chucks one of his batons up there, bounces off. Well, I did my thing.
I like Sentinels are like destroying shit, and he says like, "Hey, put down that TV." All the shit that can be going down.
One of those ones there, but
crime is crime.
But fucking Iron Man's just fucking sitting in the White House. He probably could just fly up there. Let's be honest, could just fly up there and give a little bit of support. No, not at all.
He's probably not even there. He's probably that's the things that suit's probably on AI autopilot. He's probably getting blown in this penthouse.
Exactly, and Captain America's like, I'm not losing another shield.
I don't go out. Girls throw shields. Like Steve, you can't. It really emasculated me. It really fucked with my feelings.
Did you know I had to walk across 3 states? Yes, Steve, you told us a story. You had to walk across 3 states to get that shield back because you know how much government tax dollars go into that.
You know that you also have a watch that can call in a Quinjet and fly you over there. Well, exercise is important. Like, okay. We think we were just trying to ride out the clock on this one, Steve, of that work day. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, one of those ones. But
meanwhile, there's a fucking asteroid coming down with mutants inside of it. So this is the world we live in. It's fucking great.
Yeah, and then like Professor Xavier had just decided to come back once like shit literally hit fan in every possible way. He's like Professor Xavier left. He's like, yeah, look at humans, mutants, they're all doing great together and so on. Like that's all gonna be fine. I'm just gonna take a little 6-month leave. I'm just gonna lie to everybody and say that I died. And everyone's going to assume that Trask did it. I'm just going to leave a lot of this stuff here, like, open-ended questions. I'm going to leave my last will and testament to really confuse my students that the guy that they've been fighting against this whole time is now their fucking new daddy.
Yeah, exactly. Magna Dad, yeah. But, like, well, that's also just think about, like, it's, like, okay, I mean, I'm going to say this. I don't know where Magneto's at in the comics right now. I know he goes back and forth. By this point, they should just make Magneto like an anti-hero. Like he's gone. He's
pretty much is I would say by this point for sure.
Like no longer like do the thing like we must destroy all humans because he knows how that goes by now. Yeah, I think by this if you're gonna like reboot it again, okay. If you want to make him start off as a bad guy, fine. But I honestly think it makes more sense by this point in the series because they have enough other villains. They can be going up against Sinister, Mojo, Hellfire Club, whatever, and Magneto can just be like an anti-hero, and some of the Brotherhood is turned against him by this point.
Yeah, well, because I mean, when I was a kid, I even just like I thought Magneto. I never even looked at him as like necessarily a bad guy. I'm like, I like this guy a lot. He seems like he's got a lot of just cause. He goes extreme. It's just what he does. But it's like one of those ones like you kind of get it every single time Magneto does something. You're like, fuck, I get it. He's trying to solve shit. You know what I mean? Like every time he tries to do the nice guy thing, somebody just fucks him over. They just drop a fucking Sentinel nuclear bomb on his fucking island.
They there's sometimes where they kind of go out of their way and they make it so like, well, he was making too much sense. So we had to give him 1 or 2 things that made him kind of look hypocritical or weak. Like there's the part in X-Men 1 where doing the mutant maker machine, whatever, like nearly killed him. He's like, I can't do that again. We got to get this rogue girl to do it for me, that would kill her. So like that, like, in the context of the movie, I get that, but I don't feel like Magneto in the comics would do that. It makes sense for like a movie villain or a movie version of him, but other than that, like he makes too much sense. No. I mean, if we're all mutants, I guess we can't go to war, can we? Like, well, I mean, he's gonna kill a girl in order to do it. Oh, that's fucked up. Okay, I guess we gotta stop him now.
You want to know what's even more fucked up is that he decided to have a relationship with her.
Later in life, yeah, exactly.
See, in the cartoon, it doesn't seem as weird because they're drawings and stuff. But then when you actually see their actual ages in real life humans,
Yeah, yeah.
now we got this 14-year-old girl hanging out with this 78-year-old man.
On a fucking island, yeah. And like now I'm just imagining them doing, because there's that fame. They even allude to it. Now it's like I'm just imagining. there's that famous like pinup picture of like Savage Land's Rogue in the Jungle Girl outfit and the Magneto basically in a fucking loincloth, and they're just like she just pressed against his chest like it's like a pinup model or something like that. Now I'm just imagining the actors from the first X-Men, Ian McKellen and that girl, like
That
him
girl.
just looking scrawny out like a fucking like Holocaust survivor, with that girl up against.
You said you wanted to be an actress, right?
I actually forgot Magneto's a Holocaust survivor. I forgot about that. I just meant because he's so fucking scrawny by that point. He can't be like how old was he when? God, he was fucking 70 or something when that happened. When that movie.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like that's literally what he is like in the show, in the cartoon show as well too. He's fucking old as fuck, but like, it's just he could be more jacked in a cartoon than he can be in like a film.
Ian McKellen is still alive, right?
I believe so. I do not think he's passed away yet. So
Ian
he's probably
McKellen,
like 90 years old now.
Oh, he's 84.
Oh, okay.
So maybe he was like 60
Well,
or whatever.
I guess he wasn't. He sure seems way older. God, he seemed way older in the movie than I guess he was. But maybe him and Patrick Stewart were only like 60s.
I guess when you for a couple of years when you hide behind a fucking beard and a wizard hat, it really does. Like, we must be old as fuck. Like, well, he's not that old, but
Yeah. Well, those ones, but yeah, going back to the old X-Men here and so on like that. As I said, once it starts to get towards that final 3 or 4 episodes or something like that, I think it's literally 3. That's when it really starts coming together, and there's a lot of cool stuff coming on. You get Cable comes back in, which is kind of another big thing, which is, Cable's always one of the best X-Men characters around. And then they even have like the other like turn of events, I guess, the twist in there is you have which I kind of totally forgot about that. Oh yeah, there was a second Jean Grey clone. Because I don't think that's in the cartoon at all, but that's in the comic books. And if it isn't, I kind of spaced out on that too. But
she's like Goblin Queen or something like that. Like I think in the comics she has. Cause I want to say, not that I actually read that part, but I want to say I saw like a video on it. Like they didn't know when the switch around happened, like in this. And she eventually actually tries to kill her own kid at some point, but then becomes a good guy. And then she just becomes one of those characters, just pops up in a book every so often, but not too frequently,
Yeah, because I think it was like an 80s storyline where that kind of all took place and so on like that. But yeah, it's interesting that they throw that into here for a twist and so on. And it's just how the fact that it's just like, oh, Scott's just like, oh, whatever, get out of here, you. I don't care if I had a kid with you. I'm taking the real Gene back. Faker. Go live on the island of Genosha.
I'm just imagining just like Jean Grey and Marilyn, whatever her name is, having that Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic confrontation on that like prison island.
Yeah.
Finally found you, Faker. That down, music's playing in the background.
See, and this is
Jean Grey for some reason is hunched on a branch looking down. I guess we did the way around.
This seems like this should have been the perfect thing ever. This is like, hey, wait a second. You know how Wolverine's always wanted his own Jean Grey? Well, now we have 2 genes, so everybody can be happy.
Too.
Yeah, like we can be happy. Like no. Cyclops like, none of this. Get out of here. No 2 genes going around. Like this just sounds like a sitcom waiting to happen. Be like, whoops, I slept with the wrong gene tonight.
Zoom in on the face, to the audience laugh track.
And then the upper sitcom like trope would be that Wolverine gets 2 genes for one night.
It's his birthday. Then it's also like I'm just imagining kind of like how that plays out. Like that version is what's playing out in Scott's head. Like that, no good can come of this. What's playing in Wolverine's head is like this is what actually makes him and Scott get along. And like, they're just like there's no tension anymore. Like someone's like, you know what, bub, we should just move into the same room now. And the beds are right next to each other. And as they're both like plowing their wives, just high five each other.
Fucking morphs in there with a video camera.
Rubbing his cloaca or whatever he's got,
Yeah. Yeah, one of those ones like that. Yeah. I feel like that would have solved so many problems, but I feel Cyclops like, nope, not at all. None of this.
Yeah. Like, come on, bub. I get what I want. You get what you want.
Literally, Mr. Sinister figured it all out for us.
Sometimes you just gotta look and say, thanks, Mr. Sinister. It's maybe hard to say out loud, but
at the end of the day, maybe he's not the worst guy.
Meanwhile,
he's got Sinister as his last name.
He's right out the window, like looking like, like doing the fucking like, oh, it's just this thing. He's not that bad of a guy. He just like goblin chuckles in the corner. Yeah.
But yeah,
I didn't really know much about. I know his whole thing is cloning. I didn't really know much about Mr. Sinister, but I was like, oh, he really is a campy little fucking goblin freak, isn't he? Like I didn't really know much about this guy, so I was just I know him visually, and that he likes cloning people. The whole thing about like zooming around, like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. He's been around for so long that he's into torture and all kinds of weird stuff. I always kind of like Mr. Sinister as villain. Like I like all those like all the non-Magneto kind of villains of like, once it gets to Mr. Sinister, of course, Apocalypse is cool, Mojo, which even though like in that one episode, I think that is kind of neat. Of course, like fucking Douchey McDouche has to be there. What video games are fucking gay? And you're like, oh, of course, you just want to find one more way that everybody's going to fucking hate you.
Just like, you just hear like Wolverine just like running in, just like, what'd you say, Bob? Just like,
well, it's like, it's funny.
I love Bubsy. Don't you ever talk shit about video games.
It's that thing that like, okay, it's the 90s. Let's keep this in mind. It's 1997. Here's like probably one of the few fucking like, girls that's going to say like, oh, video games is one of my favorite fucking things. And this guy has a thing to go, oh, fucking video games. Fucking stupid. Only fucking nerds and faggots play video games. Just to like really drive that in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, this isn't the 2010s when like it's common for like a girl to be loud and proud about playing video games. No. This is the time period where like this ain't fucking happening, and this guy is fucking throwing a gift horse in the fucking trash.
And let's be honest. I mean, I'm assuming back then, like if you heard that girl say, "I like video games," like. Even like the guy like, really, you like video games? Maybe he was like most popular kids in the school, but like nobody would give her shit for it, Yeah. I knew girls that would actually hid the fact they liked anime and video games, not because of judgment, but because they knew like all the wrong people would be hitting on them. So yeah. So I don't know what this Cowboy Bebop. What? No, I don't know this shit. Like this. Yeah. Yu Yu Haka Naruto. Fuck. No, I don't know this. What this shit is. Yeah.
Keep it in the closet.
Yeah.
But yeah. Jubilee's loud and proud. She's been playing fucking the arcade since fucking '92.
No, yeah. This makes me want to go and actually watch the original show now, since
you really should go back through it, because I said like that's one of the best ways to catch up on because that show will give you the entire like rundown of all the core story arcs from the 60s to like the 90s, like, and it will catch you up on so much stuff just easily as all can be, like. And as I said, I literally like it just as much as Batman the Animated Series. Like I think they're like those two shows are like the pinnacle of all, I'll say animated and just TV shows in general. I don't think shows have ever gotten better than both Batman and X-Men the Animated Series. I need
to watch. First I need to rewatch Batman Animated Series. It's been like good 10 or 15 years since I sat down and watched that through. But like also I need to watch X-Men the whole way through for the first time. I've just seen random episodes here and there. So
yeah.
Then X-Men Evolution, because that one's apparently pretty good too.
Really good too. Like because that was one of those ones I remember. That was kind of like when that show came out. That was like all like the late 90s / 2000 shows. I almost felt like I either had like an attitude like not my generation, or it was like now I was getting hard into anime. But when I kind of went back, because I bought that one on Blu-ray too, um, in X-Men Evolution, like I kid you not, I'll say this, it's damn near. I mean, I'm more nostalgic for the '92 one, but the X-Men Evolution is literally about just as good. It's
I can
solid.
see that.
You know, it's still got a little bit. It's a little bit more kind of like Batman Beyond, like a little bit more like let's kind of gear this a little bit more towards kids than like a wide audience. But it's still super good. And then the other one that's actually really fucking good, but it sadly only has one season, is that Wolverine in the X-Men show. That thing's
Everyone says good things about that one.
extremely good. Like that show, I'll say this: if that show had multiple seasons, that could probably be the ultimate X-Men show.
I can see that. Well, that's also one of those things where just there's so many shows you hear that get nothing but good reviews. These get canceled early just because of, just wasn't selling enough plastic or whatever.
Yeah, and that's the show too. Like I think it literally ends like apocalypse is coming, shit's going down, the war is coming here, and so on like that. Last episode.
I feel kind of bad because I was somebody who I was really looking forward to the new seasons of Young Justice, and then I watched season 3. I'm like, it was okay, and then I get to season 4, and then at some point I just jumped out. It was the thing that was just there's too many things going on, and there's like we talk about like this show being overstuffed. There's like every season they introduce more characters, and they only focus on each character so much. So it's like, okay, Rocket is now a single mom, and she has a kid that's like autistic or something like that, and we only have a little bit of time for that. Aqualad had the girl that Aqualad was into died off screen, which we never saw. Now he's coping with that. Fucking Nightwing fucked off. We don't know what the fuck's going on with Nightwing. I don't know what's going on with Nightwing. Harper Row, Bluebird's in it. Okay, cool. But she's dealing with family issues and their abusive dad. Like, okay, a few of these that like in like every character has one of those things going on. And then at some point you turn like the bad guys here. Like, don't get me wrong, every one of those things is interesting in itself. Make fucking time for actual fucking superhero shit though. And like it was just one of those things, just it became too overstuffed, and it was just kind of like too many characters. So just like you should have gone to the thing where stuck with 4 or 5 characters and let other characters guest star, Yeah,
I hate to sort of say it, that's once again that happens with a lot of shows like in about the last 15 years or so. They forgot what made quality in the 90s and pacing properly. And they try to stuff too much, like in a sense, like side story crap that doesn't really matter. I mean, because even once again, X-Men '97 still has a bit of this kind of going on. It's never too bad, but it's just there enough where you're kind of like, do we really need this? Let's be honest. We're here to see the X-Men do X-Men shit. Like, if we start getting to the point where we're like got fucking feelings and emotional stuff, and it's like you can have a little bit of that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you can't have too much of that. You got too much of that, then it kind of gets in the way of like, actual story progression and so on like that. And it sounded like that's what Young Justice was, is they were focusing way hard on everybody having some emotional problem, when maybe you should just have 1 or 2 characters have that for a moment and have the rest of them still fighting crime and doing superhero shit.
Well, it just became super stacked, and it became like where we saw the team grow and evolve through 2 seasons, and then there's a massive time jump. And then there's even a time jump in season 2, but we still saw there's more characters there. And the thing is, it just does these time jumps and more characters just come in. And it's like a cast of like 15 or 20 characters rotating between original cast characters and then like these other characters over here. And then also Superboy apparently dies at the beginning, and then I'm assuming he comes back at the end, but I dropped off before that happened. It's one of those things where there's just too many things happening, and superhero shit still happened, and I appreciated they were telling more mature stories. It was another one of those shows started off as a kid's thing and then became more mature once it went on to streaming. But like, you still got to make time just for me to actually get to fucking know the characters, because I want to say like Aqualad, he says, I got to figure some shit out. He leaves. I figured that shit out. Like, I'm glad we had this conversation, So it's this shit kind of like that, where I think this show definitely did. I'm still more of a DC fan, but I still think 97 did it pretty good as far as I'm not going to be one of those people who's just like, dude, Marvel's back. Nothing was ever wrong with Marvel. It was always good. I'm not going to be one of those people, but at the same time, like, I do think Marvel is kind of learning from their mistakes, and we're starting to see the process of like less output, more quality.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do think this X-Men 97 is definitely probably one of the strongest things that Disney Marvel has done in probably the last 3 or 4 years or something like that. Like, I definitely was overall pretty impressed. It does kind of seem like, they don't try to put, really much. There was no real like Disney like feels that you could kind of feel where like the stuff sometimes feels off. The way that you see it in Star Wars, the way that you sometimes see it in some of the other Marvel movies, where you go, now you feel I can see the other company like creeping in, where it doesn't feel legitimate and so on like that, or it doesn't feel like the original. This one still overall was pretty darn good, and the way it leads off is you have of course Asteroid M and all this stuff going down, and Bastion, and a big old fight scene towards the end, and it does something kind of cool when fucking Iron Man's just fucking doing nothing and not saving the planet. The X-Men stop that asteroid from coming down, but in the process they get thrown back in time to different places, or in the future, depending on who you are. And one of them, or like a handful of the guys, go back and they go, "Oh, we're back in Egypt 3,000 years ago, and there's fucking Apocalypse down there, like in his early forms, because he's like the original mutant." So that's going to be kind of interesting how they kind of lead up to that, Which hopefully this is how we're. Let's be honest, we're all leading into how do we get Gambit back.
Yeah, well, we're probably going to go back in time and probably stop him from dying before he has a chance to.
Yeah, which sometimes, like, I will say, sometimes I kind of don't like those time travel stories for that reason. It's just like, oh, well, we can always just fix it by turning back time or something like that, because it does sort of take out, like, consequences, But it just seems weird to, once again, like, I guess if you had it, they want to kill somebody, and I get it. Like, you could kill the fucking rich boy, and there's really no impact. People are just probably more happy than anything else. You want to kill somebody that's going to make a, like, oh, okay, like, people are going to kind of have the feels. And, you do take Gambit, who's, a big character in the original series anyways. So I know what they were going for. They were obviously going, like, they wanted to have impact. And, yes, that you do get it with Gambit, but...
I would be lying if I said I wanted to see Gambit die. At the exact same time, Nightcrawler was always one of my favorite X-Men, so I'm glad that didn't get... He's no longer, featuring Nightcrawler or guest starring Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler gets his own card now at the intro after Gambit dies. So that was one thing when, like, I'm like, is Gambit dead? And he's like, Nightcrawler at the beginning. I'm like, well, that's where Gambit should show up. So I guess, hey, there's a job opening. So
yeah. Which is kind of cool because, because Nightcrawler literally is only in, like, it feels like 3 or 4 episodes in the original series, So, yeah, it is, which is funny because he gets like a fucking starring role like in like all the video games. So,
So like, what I am glad that he's if anything, at least we got Nightcrawler as like is a normal member for time being. And it's an ever changing cast. And there's even that part where he and Wolverine team up, and Gambit has Nightcrawler has 3 swords at once.
Yeah. So
Bruce Timm.
School look.
Bruce Timm. That was the dude's name. Okay.
Batman animated series.
We got there. I knew it. I didn't have to look it up or anything. Okay.
Yeah. Tim Sale, Bruce Timm. There we go. See, it was all Liam there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Nightcrawler gets a lot of cool stuff in here, which works out really well. Because that's the nice thing is that like the characters when they do get good moments, like Jubilee gets used pretty well throughout it. On the fact she has to hang out with Douchey Boy the whole time, but she still gets a lot of fighting in here. Once Storm comes back, of course she does. Beast, we didn't really mention Beast at all, but he has actually a good significance. He does kind of, he kind of has this crush on this journalism lady. That journalism lady like throws him under the bus, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" But he does it like very like elegantly.
Yeah, well, I even thought it was interesting because the journalist lady, she came across as somebody who was, how do I put this, like, kind of well-meaning, but also kind of like ignorant to like what they have to go through. Like, she means well, but she's also hasn't really thought out what it is they really have to do. So sometimes the questions that are meant to be like what she would assume to be an easy layup for them would actually be would be more of like that's a really fucked up and sensitive question. Have you ever considered X, Y, and Z? And why do we have to keep fucking proving ourselves to you guys when you guys don't fucking do anything back? So I kind of so it's like, I kind of thought that was interesting. Like you could see she wasn't a horrible person, but she could see she was a little like, oh, I never thought of it that way, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah. And she works kind of well for that too, to get, to give Beast kind of some different things that he's going through. I was kind of surprised that that they didn't bring back Iceman at all. And the only reason I say is because they always refer to, they look at that old school picture of them in the 60s. Like, remember the good old days? Yeah, when the professor was here and, Beast wasn't blue yet and it was just the four of us, fucking high-fiving and shit. And, Iceman never comes back. Because it's weird because in the old show, I want to say he's only in 2 episodes, which is just weird to be like, you're the original X-Men. You've been here since day one. You get in 2 episodes.
How was Angel in the original a lot?
He's in it a bit, which I was actually kind of surprised he actually wasn't in this either, too, especially as Archangel and so on like that. I mean,
an Archangel is when he gets transformed by Apocalypse, right?
Yeah, Apocalypse turns him into the 4 Horsemen characters, and he's one of them. So he's Archangel there. Yeah, I'm surprised he did. I mean, I'm not expecting everybody to show up in here. I mean, some characters have brief either cameos or they have morph cameos, I guess is the way you could say it, like Psylocke, Polaris, Juggernaut, and things like that. But Blob's in there as he's just carrying shit. Like they're like, we need you to here, lose some weight, do some cardio for us, and carry things around.
Yeah. They have a lot of that. They have a lot of cameos throughout it. Like even characters I'm aware of. Like there's some pink translucent. There's some pink translucent guy. We can see his skeleton or his muscle or something. And I want to say that's a newer character. Maybe that's an old character. But I think that might be because I'm actually working through Old Man Logan right now, and I want to say there's. That guy, he goes on basically mutant grinder, and there's some girl who's like, oh my god, you're so fucking hot. Like, really? I'm just a fucking blood man. Would you really want to fuck me? Like, of course I do. And the course ends up being a mutant trap. Like, who would really want to fuck you? You're a gross mutant. You suck. Like, old man Wolverine, and then whoever the new shiny new X-Men kids are come in and save the day, So he's like, don't worry, you'll get yourself some pussy one day, maybe, So show, So they're like, there's that guy. There's the guy who couldn't get fucking laid in that issue of Old Man Logan.
Yeah, and here he is at Genosha and so on.
He's probably dead.
Yeah, they even he's probably dead, just like anything else. They also showed Dazzler for a moment because Dazzler was a big character in the 70s and the early 80s, and then she sort of fell off. I feel like Kitty Pryde sort of took her spot, and then she never kind of came back. And then Kitty Pryde kind of fell off the face of the earth too for a while, and then, of course the movies brought her back again because she was a big popular character in the 80s. And
was she in the 90s cartoon?
Maybe 1 or 2 episodes, I want to say she's in. But she's not used as much. But in the comic books, in the Chris Claremont stuff, she's really big in the 80s. Like a lot of the big arcs and so on like that. Kitty Pryde's one of the main ones. But I feel like they sort of use Rogue fills in that Kitty Pryde, I guess, kind of character, in a sense, or just the role for there. Maybe you can even because the weird thing is because because Jubilee sort of fills in the Rogue role, then Rogue sort of fills in the Kitty Pryde role. It's like there could only be a slot for each person, just like Nightcrawler fills in the Gambit role as he blows himself up. But yeah, it's kind of
every time a legacy character dies, everyone just looks at each other. Someone who's not a frequent member just looks at each other like. I'm updating my LinkedIn,
Yeah, job opening, yeah. As I said, the roundabout way again, I'm just surprised that Iceman, just because they look at that picture so many times, didn't have one single bit part. You know what I mean? They kind of come back, which is kind of weird to not use Iceman, because Iceman just feels like there's so much cool stuff you can do with him.
He's also an Omega level mutant, isn't he?
because he has like his powers are just extraordinarily like he can do so much stuff with that. It's that thing which is it's such a simple one. It's a guy who controls ice, but it's like think how much you could do with that. He can surf around on stuff. He can freeze things. He can make all kinds of structures and so on. Yeah, it's just like, but then again, granted, if you have a season two, that leaves spots for those characters that kind of come back in and have more significant roles and so on. I do kind of hope that maybe when they do get to season two, that if they can kind of maybe tone some stuff down just a little bit and just kind of focus on some, because that's almost like one of the things that made I think the old X-Men show work so well is that you had these kind of just almost a little bit more casual episodes where it didn't have to feel so world ending type stuff. Where you just were learning backstories of characters, people go on their like side adventures and so on like that. And I'm not saying that's like the worst thing, but I feel like this one pretty much pushes everything to like let's go to like level 11, you know what I mean, and just really go hard. When like it would be kind of interesting to see that work up and almost have like this because you know what I mean. It's like I know like where do you go to next? Where you go to Apocalypse? But it was like one of those ones like they threw like everything in this one here when it's like oh you could have had some kind of like a little bit more of a build up towards all that stuff, but maybe they just felt like they had to get it all in just to make sure you could secure a season two.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think they'll do a good job in the next one. I'm glad how many characters they have in it, but I still hope they don't overcrowd it. That they don't do what Young Justice did. So, I could even see him like, cause I don't know how. I think some of them are newer characters, just given the '90s aesthetic look. Like I think some more of the background characters more than anything. So, it would be kind of interesting just to see them introduce like this character or that character into it. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know we're gonna probably have to wait a year or two, but right now it looks like I'm kind of confident Marvel is gonna. I'm not gonna say like Marvel's gonna do like because I think there's that thing I want to say about Marvel, like Disney Marvel, real quick, where everyone loved it when it came out, and then after like a couple of like mediocre films, they're like, what, was Marvel ever that good? I don't think Marvel was ever really that fucking good. It was never really that good. And then like all of a sudden, like it just takes one or two movies to do good again. Like, oh fuck, they're back, they're fucking back. Like I almost kind of feel like they're in that kind of phase. And I think Wolverine and Deadpool is gonna I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to get overly optimistic, but I got a feeling that one's going to be pretty good.
I think so too. I think in a sense, X-Men's going to be what brings everything back around again. It's going to make everything seem
Fantastic
fresh.
Four.
Yeah, Fantastic Four. It will probably tie in with the X-Men of how it works. Like I'll say Fantastic Four by itself, maybe not. But Fantastic Four with the X-Men, like kind of back, in like the same year and so on like that, I think it will.
Are they coming out the same year?
I always want, or maybe they're alternating years, but I mean, I always want Fantastic Four to be the one that does like a really good job, but like I don't know, I just feel like Fantastic Four is a tough sell to like, the big audience. It's one of those ones I feel like people that like comics, they can get excited about Fantastic Four, but I don't know if that's the same way that sort of like I think X-Men, this show. Of course, the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I think these are going to be those kind of turning points of getting the gears going, getting people kind of back into the groove of X-Men and all that kind of stuff. And then hopefully they can just sort of play with X-Men for a while and really like build that up inside there. And of course, you'll have Spider-Man as well, too, because Spider-Man's kind of going solid, too.
Yeah, assuming Sony doesn't do too much fuckery with that. But
yeah,
I'm actually feeling pretty optimistic towards Fantastic Four because it's going to take place in the 60s, which is a cool setting. And then on top of that, they've confirmed both Galactus and a Silver Surfer, not the main Silver Surfer, but like a rendition of the Silver Surfer, like a lady version of Silver Surfer is going to be in it. So I think they're going to probably trade off at some point or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. So I think it's going to be pretty solid.
Yeah, no, as I said, I'm always looking forward to Fantastic Four, so I'm excited just to see at least another variation come out and see how that goes. But no, I think it's that thing. I think it's like they had to filter out sort of like these last bit of movies, and they were all kind of in that similar style, and then you can kind of restart and go, okay, let's try something new. Let's go a little bit. I think the nice thing is I think we're kind of getting back to a little bit more edgier era, like the 2000s. again, because people always kind of forget how in a sense, actually, how intense the 2000s sort of was. You don't think about it off the top of your head. You think of like 90s Attitude Era, but like realistically, that Attitude Era went even farther once it got into the 2000s, and and then it sort of dwindled as it got towards the beginning of the 2010s, and I think maybe we can start to get kind of back into there, and maybe things will be kind of taken a little bit more serious, but still keeping the classicness in there. That's the mixed match that you sort of want. You want, in a sense, the way that X-Men '97 is. Everybody's in cool, awesome costumes and everything like that, but you could still go a little bit extra violent. You could take the stories a little bit more serious. You don't have to have goofy comedy throughout it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you can even kind of look at it to a certain extent of like, I mean, you could always find the outliers or trace this to this or that, but thinking on the 2000s for a second, like it just kind of comes in phases when they say there's too much of this, too much of that. I mean, they talk. It's like sometimes you'll hear like, I mean, it's kind of one of those things like I don't want to sound like a fucking condescending dick, especially because I know they could probably name more movie facts and they know more about film than me. But sometimes I'm just kind of like, you guys work in the industry. How do you not fucking see this or know this? Like sometimes you'll hear like directors or producers talk about like comic book movies are ruining the industry. They're just ruining it. Everything's got to be big budget. Everything's got to be spectacle. I'm like, I'm not even in the industry, and I could fucking say it's just literally just this moment in time. It's not going to be that way fucking forever. You know what I mean? It's like, we had gritty realism in 2000s, and then Iron Man and Batman Begins came out, and then that kind of led into superhero shit, because everything up to that was like, 9/11 question, like paranoia type shit and gritty realism, and then leading into like fuck all this. This is depressing. Escapism. Yeah, more escapism. Now we're having lots of escapism and lots of genre. And now we're getting fucking burnt out on that. It's like, let's get some edgy realism again. A24 has another movie out, So it just comes in fucking waves, really,
Yeah, I don't know, and that's like literally how everything kind of is, and so on.
It's just weird to me when I hear like a director say like these fucking movies just change in the industry. How the fuck do you not know this? I don't know. I know it. How do you not know this? But,
yeah, it's like literally. Have you not looked at any history before? Like it always changes. It always goes through cycles and so on like that.
Especially if there's like a questionable war happening or something. It always happens.
Yeah.
It's always like So
I mean, that's why the '70s had
world events.
Had all those hard, gritty edge movies and so on like that. And then the 80s kind of goes to a little bit more happier, fun-filled time. Then the 90s kind of goes back to an alternative, edgy time. And then, of course, you get the grounded in reality of the 2000s, which, it's like, that's the thing. It's like the reality part of the 2000s is kind of like some of the downfalls to it, is because that's the part where like they made the superhero stuff like the stories could be serious, but they had to make them too realistic. Where it's like no, what I want the over the top kind of like comic bookiness, but still a serious storyline, because that's what the comic books always delivered. Like that's the one thing that like. Because in the 2010s, I think that's where they sort of lost it. Is like they're like, okay, now the costumes are starting to come in there. It's starting to look like it, but now it's getting kind of a campy factor. Now it's kind of going like in that sort of way where it's like, we're trying to get that goofy comedy put in there and so on. It's like no, let's go back. Can we get to like serious storyline? But everybody's in their right costumes. Nobody questions calling each other by their real names. You know what I mean? That's all normal in this world, And I just want to see. I just can't wait to finally see Full Tilt. Like, oh, they did that comic book 100%. I'm not saying there's not movies out there that haven't done that pretty darn accurately and so on like that. But there's just not as much. I can't wait till like where it's common, where we don't even have to question it. It's just, oh, they're just doing it accurate. Cool. You know what I mean? Nobody has to put their own flair into it. We don't have to try to get mom and pop in Oklahoma to come see it.
I feel like it's one of those things where it actually has been that for a while. It's been pretty accurate and been pretty true to the source material for a while. You look at something like Endgame, but then after a while they come out too fast and too frequently, and then it just like where by all means The Marvels is a bigger stakes movie, and technically when you think about it is a bigger movie than Captain Marvel. But Captain Marvel feels like, just for the way it was made compared to those two, it just feels like a bigger movie. It feels like it doesn't feel like it just came off of, I mean, it did to come off of the assembly line, but it felt like more they had something to prove, or the Marvels just felt like, here's another one of these. We needed to fill it out for a day. We needed to fill something out for this time slot, for this quarter. So I think we were at that, and now there's just too many of them, and we're going to get back to that. But even if we don't have a good run.
Yeah. And I think it will, because, as I said, like you watch some of those 2000s like superhero movies and beyond, if you take out the grounded of reality stuff that might hold them down a little bit, it's like, at least they're taken generally pretty serious, which is always kind of the nice thing about that.
I mean, the Batman,
like the Batman and all that stuff. But where some of the other ones, they had that kind of, I guess it's the goofy comedy. That's always my biggest fear in life, is when the goofy comedy gets in the way.
And I think it's funny how, like, we were both, like, you more so, but we were both kind of like, they kind of have a little too much of the goofy comedy in these. Everyone else is like seal clapping for that shit. And then now suddenly, all they do is tell fucking jokes. Like, they did that for a while, dude. Like, I feel like they kind of toned back at some point, but then I don't know. Now everyone's noticing it.
Well, I feel like, I hate to sort of say it, this is the downfall. The goofy clapping works really well for the casual audience. That's the thing. It's the casual audience loves that. The casual audience outweighs all the fans and all like the hardcore audience. So the downfall is like, when somebody goes in there like who's like looking at a test audience, they go, see, they love the goofy, like they love the goofy comedy. But like the 10% of people that are in there that are like serious about it, be like, I wonder why those fucking nerds just stormed out. Like, yeah, because you sort of lost them on that because it got too goofy at some point, But yeah, I think that's kind of it. Is that hopefully it's just getting that balance that you don't have to be campy. You don't have to, like, in a sense, there's a time and a place, for all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think there's going to be a little bit of a turnaround. I know I say this is like Deadpool, but see, Deadpool knows what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the comedy is part of it, and I think that's fine. That was even in the books initially, so it can work in that way. But sometimes you just want like a serious story, and it's like, I just want it to be serious. Can it just be serious? Like, can we just have it be like Watchmen serious? Like, that's just what it's supposed to be. Like, if Watchmen came out and just had a bunch of goofy fucking comedy in it, that'd be bizarre. You know what I mean? Like, oh, here's Rorschach doing his goofy bit now.
Farting in Night Owl's face.
Yeah. Rorschach's brought his mom in, and like, isn't his mom a hooker? Yeah, but she's a laughable one. One of those. Oh, and she's gonna come help out towards the end and fight. Look at that. Now she's part of the team. Yeah, no, it's like just get that kind of stuff out of there. But no, I think with X-Men '97, Deadpool coming out, I think we're gonna be kind of going into like where the ship's turning itself back around into a little bit stronger area. I'm not saying that like the last 5 years have been like, gone up. Everything's been kind of like that middle of the road. If I didn't see it, I wasn't missing out on anything.
There's like two or three pretty good ones, like Black Panther 2, Guardians 3, and Spider-Man. But beyond that, everything else has been like, okay, sure,
Yeah, not bad, but not like, nothing to write home about. So. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think there's cool stuff coming around, but yeah, X-Men '97 gives you a reason to go get Disney Plus for a moment. It's one of those ones that it is pretty cool. I definitely, as I said, I kind of had mixed emotions from the beginning to the end. Never bad, but just kind of like, okay. But at the end, it came around strong, and I'm glad to kind of see it, and it does kind of work out. It's one of those ones. It's not something that tails them where you're like, well, that was a weird way to sort of end a good show. No, it keeps it going strong and keeps those X-Men vibes, going well. But till then, go to oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, comic books like Pizza Boys, all our old animations and all that fun stuff. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Zunigan.
And we'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.